I didn't expect the characters to be so real.
I'm so impressed in how creative it all is in making the puppets and making them so that they can move.
Before, I thought it was going to be some like little kid puppet show, but once I got here and I saw all the puppets, I thought it was really, really cool.
It's something you don't see every day around here.
I think we offer something that is unusual.
When you walk in, you know you're going to have a good time. When people find out that I'm a puppeteer, there's mixed reactions.
You know, it's just kind of strange to have an adult male playing with dolls. I'm an adult doll wiggler.
I had it in the back of my mind that when I was old enough and, you know, had a little bit more skill that I would actually try to make puppets.
It was her aunt or someone that gave her her first puppet, and so from that it was just like a fascination.
I started doing puppetry when my kids were teenagers, and I joke that, you know, I wanted something I could control, but I guess you could say the puppets really have slowly taken over our lives.
Ever since I was a kid, you know, there would be puppets, you know, popping up everywhere, and you know, it wasn't unusual to see them around. It was, you know, second nature. Okay, Mom's got another puppet she made.
There is not a room in the house that doesn't have one or two marionettes. In one of the closets in our spare bedroom, we have on little bitty hangers all these different clothing, you know, shirts and pants, and they're all sized for our marionettes.
Under the bed and in the closets and in the basement and in the attic, they're all over the place.
A marionettist was selling one of his heads. Now his marionettes are about half human size, so they're about 3 feet high. So this head is pretty close to normal human size, but it's a clown head. And we've decided to hang this head in the bathroom. And so when people who know that we are puppeteers but don't realize how many puppets we actually have go in the washroom and they see this head hanging in the shower, it kind of takes them back a little bit.
When you make a puppet, it's a slow process. You mold them and you paint them and you sew their clothes.
You're not trying to make a little human being, but I think what we try to do is make it as believable as possible.
You know, I might work on a head one day, and then the next day I can't wait to come down in the morning and look at it again and see what happens to it, or you know, how it looked after it dried and what little detail I can add to it. They take on a personality. You know, you shape the face, and pretty soon when you start painting the eyes on, I think they really do come to life. A big part of the fun is watching something that you made that was inanimate, that was sitting on a work table. Now it's moving around. It can dance, it can jump, it can sit in a chair, and it can wave. It's cool.
When we start to put the show together, besides making the puppets, of course, you have to figure out what kind of voice is that puppet going to have, whether it's a human or an animal.
I'm taking off my shoes so I can wiggle my toes in the river.
For instance, the wolf in Little Red Riding Hood, you know, he's dark, he's sinister.
I'll knock your house down with a big breath if you don't watch it. So, you know, that's easy enough for a guy, but there are all kinds of voice inflections that need to be made. You know, Tweety Bird would talk really high, so even a guy could do this. It may hurt after a while.
Grandpa, can you beat my hook?
We find that we're making faces.
Let's play. Hey, where was that thing I was playing with?
So between the three of us, it can get pretty crazy.
Outtake.
Who am I?
Mom came to me one day and she said, you know, the Opera House is up for sale. And
it was like this gasp that she made.
We have to go look at it.
Yeah. Well, I said it would be real easy to just take a refrigerator box and put a hole in it.
Chuck will kind of deny this now, but he called the realtor and got us an appointment, and we came in and looked at it and looked around. We looked up, just as everybody does when you walk in. And I said, "Oh, do you think we can do this?" And he said, "I think we have to." When you walk in, you know you're going to have a good time.
Some of the people in the audience, they've never seen anything like that.
I think we offer something that is unusual.
You never know what it's going to be like the day of a show. Sometimes there are people who come 45 minutes ahead of time, and then they sit in the opera house, and you can hear the grandma talking to a little kid saying, "Oh, and the curtain is going to go up," and you know, a lot of it's the anticipation of a kid seeing the show. There's a definite connection that people have to puppets. They get a giggle out of just a puppet walking across the stage. And the two of us are looking at each other backstage, and we're trying not to laugh so they don't hear us.
It's such a thrill because they don't see what goes into working that specific puppet. They just see the character.
Some of the things that happen while a show is going on can be frightening, actually.
Backstage, you know, you knock into a puppet and it falls down, and it can get royally tangled.
When we try to pass the control from, let's say, myself to Sandy, I try to really make sure that she's got it in her hand.
One of the worst things that happened was during a Christmas show, and we had a lot of different characters on stage, and of course we only have two hands, there's two of us, and we dropped the camel.
I said the camel, orange and black, over the
Legs were all over the place, and it was scary.
We try to really put feeling into what the puppet would do if it were a little adult.
You hold on to the wooden control and manipulate it with the strings, and it becomes alive.
When they bring the puppets out, the kids, you know, they're down here and the puppets are on stage, and they look up at the strings and the controls, and they're just like, whoa, you know, they're just wowed by, wow, they're actually, you know, they're controlled.
The adults ask after a show, you know, how did you get that to happen? Or that particular puppet just seems to walk so nicely. Those are the kinds of things that people, I think, appreciate.
They talk to the puppet, they don't talk to you. They sometimes say things to me like, "How did you make the eyes move?" And the eyes don't move, but kids seem to think that the eyes are moving, and I say it's your imagination. So that's part of the magic.
It's a rare thing, I think, for a couple to find something that can carry them into their later years in life and have fun doing.
You know, I look at my parents and I see that, you know, they do this together and they love it. And it's neat because it's my mom that got him into it. You know, she was the one that was like, "Hey, let's do this."
Happy birthday to me, happy birthday.
Happy birthday, want to play?
It just binds us together in a relationship that's much closer.
Sometimes we disagree on things that we're doing with the puppets, but basically we don't disagree on the fact that we both really enjoy doing it.
The thought, you know, does cross your mind, you know, how many more years are we going to be able to do this?
There are lots of times when I think, oh, if I could just do this all the time, it would be wonderful. I wonder, though, if some of the magic would wear off.
David, he will reign over the house of Jacob forever.
As long as it keeps being fun and we still have that creative spirit, we'll keep going.